Hello everyone. In today's video, we'll see the differences between Kafka and RabbitMQ. Kafka is a distributed streaming platform. It works on a publish-subscribe model, whereas RabbitMQ is a message broker. RabbitMQ supports the queue-based model, but it can also support the publish-subscribe model through its message exchange. So Kafka is best used for processing streams of data, and while doing so, they provide quite a good guarantee of the data ordering or the ordering of the messages. However, RabbitMQ has a very minimal guarantee regarding the ordering of messages in a stream. In Kafka, it is the consumer's duty to take care of retrying the message retrieval in case of any issue. So while consuming the messages from the Kafka broker, if there is any issue in the process, the consumer has to have the supporting logic to ensure that the process is resumed and the messages retrieval is retried again. Whereas RabbitMQ has an out-of-box support for implementation of retry logic and date later exchanges. Kafka provides a guaranteed and very reliable ordering of message processing. Kafka ensures that messages corresponding to the same topic partition are processed in the same order. However, in case of RabbitMQ, the ordering of messages works fine if there is only one consumer receiving the message. Let's say if there are more than one consumers, and if any of the consumers due to some issue in the process returns or redelivers the messages back to the broker, in that case the message ordering context might get broken, and that essentially subsequently screws up the message ordering, and hence the subsequent message ordering might get impacted. This very much limits the consumer concurrency to one in RabbitMQ until and unless the message ordering is not disturbed. Kafka does not allow the consumers with the flexibility of filtering messages within a topic. So the consumers has to receive all the messages in a partition. So they cannot filter or specify specific messages in a partition. However, in RabbitMQ, the entities of topic exchange and header exchange, they facilitate the option for the consumers to have a choice of receiving specific messages only. In Kafka, the longevity of the messages are higher because Kafka stores the messages in partitions. Partitions are very similar to the concept of files, and these messages can be kept for very long duration, and that specific duration or the data retention period can be configured based on the need. So if you want to retain the data for 1 week, or if you want to retain the data or the messages for 1 month or 6 months, so those kind of changes can be done in the Kafka configuration. Whereas in RabbitMQ, the messages have very limited validity of time. So the messages needs to be consumed within a specific time period. Otherwise, these messages are removed from the queue. Kafka doesn't have the concept of delayed or scheduled routing. So as soon as the messages are available in the partitions, the consumers can start consuming the messages. So there is no option of delayed or scheduled timing at which the consumer wants to consume the messages. However, RabbitMQ provides an option of delayed or scheduled routing of messages, so that the consumer has the option of receiving messages at specific point of time based on their choice. In Kafka, in case of any issue, and suppose the flow of message consumption is broken, or in case of any issue during the message consumption, the retry logic and the processing are completely the consumer's job. The consumer has to take care of all the retrying logic and all the subsequent processing to ensure that the messages are received again with the same ordering, and they can resume the process. Whereas RabbitMQ provides out-of-box options like delivery retries or dead letter exchanges. Both these options can handle the message processing failures. Now coming to the scaling part, Kafka can scale horizontally because Kafka uses partitions. So you can have one or more number of brokers in a Kafka clusters. As the data usage keeps increasing, you can have more number of servers added to the Kafka cluster. Whereas RabbitMQ scales in a vertical manner. So based on all the points that we have seen in the above pointers, we can have one specific understanding that in Kafka the consumers have to be smart, whereas the brokers are typically dumb in case of Kafka, so that the consumers can work alone or the consumers can form a group based on their need. However, the way they want, they can function, but it is their job to handle in case of any failure of processing. Hence, the consumers in case of Kafka has to be smart. Whereas in RabbitMQ, the brokers are smart and the consumers can afford to be dumb. This is because RabbitMQ provides lots of built-in supports, as we have seen in the earlier pointers, which helps the consumers to have less responsibility, or they can function even if they are dumb. I hope you had some understanding regarding the differences between Kafka and RabbitMQ. Thank you for watching.